Welcome to Module 2 of the course Construction Economics. 2.1 Introduction to Valuation in Construction Economics. Valuation, in the context of construction economics, is the process of estimating the worth of a property, land, or project. It is not guesswork, it is a disciplined process guided by economic principles, legal frameworks, and market realities. The need for valuation arises in many contexts. When a property is to be sold or purchased, for mortgage or loan security purposes, for taxation assessments, for insurance purposes, for compensation in cases of compulsory acquisition by the government, for investment analysis and feasibility studies. In Nigeria, valuation is often complex due to irregular land markets, multiple legal frameworks for ownership, and fluctuating economic conditions. As a result, a good valuation requires not only technical knowledge but also a deep understanding of the local market environment. 2.2 Purposes of valuation in construction. Understanding why valuation is done is just as important as knowing how it is done. Let's outline the key purposes relevant to construction economics. Pre-investment decision-making. Before a construction project begins, an investor needs to know whether it is worth the cost. Valuation helps compare the cost of acquisition and development with the expected revenue. Project financing. Financial institutions rely on valuations to determine how much they are willing to lend and what collateral is available. Sale and purchase transactions. Accurate valuation ensures fair pricing in the buying and selling of property. Insurance coverage. Valuation determines the replacement cost of property in case of damage or destruction. Compulsory acquisition and compensation. When government acquires land for public projects, valuation determines the fair compensation due to the owner. 2.3 Valuation methods. There are several standard methods for valuation, each suited to different property types and purposes. As a construction economics student, you must be able to select and apply the right method for the right scenario. 2.3.1 Comparative method. Basis: comparing the subject property with similar properties that have recently been sold in the same location. Advantages: simple, reflects current market trends. Limitations: requires accurate and up-to-date market data, which may be scarce in informal markets. 2.3.2 Income capitalization method. Basis: value is derived from the present worth of expected future income from the property. Application: common for income-generating properties like rental apartments, office buildings, or shopping centers. Key considerations: rental rates, occupancy levels, operational expenses, and appropriate capitalization rate. 2.3.3 Cost method. Basis: the value equals the cost of land plus the cost of constructing a replacement for the building, minus depreciation. Application: useful for properties that are not frequently traded in the market, such as specialized factories or public facilities. 2.3.4 Residual method. Basis: value is determined by estimating the potential revenue from a completed development and subtracting all cost of development, including profit. Application: frequently used for development land valuation. 2.4 Construction of valuation tables. Valuation tables are essential tools for making quick, accurate calculations, especially when using the income capitalization method or assessing long-term projects. Functions of valuation tables. Convert future income streams into present value. Provide multipliers for different interest rates and time periods. Reduce repetitive calculations in large-scale property assessments. In practice, a quantity surveyor might use single rate tables for annual income capitalization. Dual rate tables for projects with both sinking fund and interest rate considerations. Years purchase tables for determining the capital value of perpetual income. 2.5 Introduction to cost control in construction. Cost control is the continuous process of planning, monitoring, and regulating project costs to ensure that a project is completed within its approved budget. It is important to stress that cost control is not just about cutting expenses. Instead, it is about ensuring value for money, meaning the client gets the best possible outcome for the resources spent. 2.6 Cost control procedures. Effective cost control involves a structured procedure. Pre-tender estimation. Establishing an initial cost benchmark before tenders are invited. Cost planning. Breaking down the total cost into detailed components and allocating cost limits to each. Tender evaluation. Comparing contractor bids against the cost plan to ensure consistency and feasibility. Post-contract cost control. Monitoring actual expenditures against the budget, approving variations only when justified. Final account preparation. Summarizing all costs at project completion to assess performance and provide data for future projects. 2.7 Cost implications of design variables. Design decisions have a direct and often substantial impact on project cost. As a future professional, you must be aware of how seemingly minor design choices can escalate cost. Factors include building shape and size. Complex shapes may require more specialized construction techniques, increasing labor and material cost. Material specification. Higher quality materials may increase upfront cost but can reduce maintenance expenses. Construction methods. Prefabricated methods may be faster but could require higher initial investment. Building height. Taller buildings require more structural reinforcement and vertical transportation systems. 2.8 Developer's budget and preliminary estimates. A developer's budget is the comprehensive financial plan for the project. It includes land acquisition cost, design and consultancy fees, construction cost, legal and administrative fees, contingencies, financing charges. Preliminary estimates are the early-stage cost predictions, typically based on minimal design information. They are used to test the financial feasibility of the project, guide early decision-making, provide a basis for securing initial funding. 2.9 Establishing cost targets. Setting cost targets is a strategic process in which the project team agrees on maximum allowable costs for each component or stage. This keeps the project aligned with the client's budget, encourages cost-conscious design, provides a benchmark for performance measurement. Cost targets must be realistic and based on accurate data. Unrealistic targets create tension between quality and cost, potentially compromising both. 2.10 Summary of Module 2. In this second module, we have examined the purposes and method of valuation in construction economics, discussed the construction and use of valuation tables for quick financial assessment, introduced the principles and procedures of cost control, explored the cost implications of design choices and construction methods, outlined how developers create budgets and prepare preliminary estimates, reviewed the process of establishing cost targets to guide projects from start to finish. By combining the market and economic concept of Module 1 with the valuation, cost control, and budgeting skills of Module 2, you now have a holistic understanding of construction economics. You are equipped not only to analyze market trends and project feasibility but also to control and manage the financial aspects of construction projects from conception to completion.